Okay, Emmanuel, could you give information on your company, history, or where you are right now?
Thank you, Guy. So Dainov is a French startup company. I agree with you, Patrick. Actually, bacteria are pretty old, but some of our bacteria actually are 1 to 4 billion years old, so not millions,
yes.
billions.
Yes.
So it's even more interesting. We have to deal with our elderly people, so we deal with our elderly bacteria. Dainov is a French startup company. We're based out of Montpellier. From 2006 to 2010, we have gathered strains all over the planet. So not only marine bacteria, I often discuss that with Pierre, but it doesn't matter. You know, we have gathered them in volcanoes, in hot springs, in beaches, in Tahiti, as an example, mostly in France. And in 2010, we decided to IPO. So we are a listed company on the French stock exchange, Alternext. And in 2010, we decided to focus on bioenergy, which we are not doing anymore for macroeconomics reasons, because the oil pricing has gone down. However, we are now able to focus on a few key segments: cosmetics, food, feed, and also antibiotics. As you know, the bulk of the antibiotics today worldwide come from bacteria. I mean, that's the bulk of what is being manufactured is coming from the bacteria. And we are discovering new chemical structure to fight antimicrobial resistance, which is, as you know, spreading all over the world. We are also focusing on specialties for the 3 other segments, mostly carotenoids. So we do have a way to isolate our bacteria, which is through irradiation. So we irradiate the samples we gather all over the world. And by irradiating these samples, the bacteria create a shield, which is the production of carotenoids. Therefore, we have 400 strains that produce various types of carotenoids, very innovative, that we are going to exploit again in cosmetics, feed, and food applications. We have been able to strike a few deals. Some of them are public, like the one we have with Avril, which is a major group in France. Another one is with Flint Hills Resources in the US. We're working on specialty compounds for the feed industry. And some of them are confidential, but they are all taking place within cosmetics and food. We also have the ability to modify our bacteria. We have gathered a platform, so we're 50 people today, that is totally integrated from managing the feedstock, the biodiversity, the analytical, the fermentation engineering, as well as the genetic and metabolic engineering department. So we have the ability to modify our bacteria as easily as you would do it with Saccharomyces or an E. coli. And we do that in order to make these bacteria overproduce a compound of interest. It applies for some of the applications. Of course, it provides also some regulatory hurdles, but we're pretty confident we can overcome these hurdles. So that's Dainov in a nutshell.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Jean-Christophe, up to you.
Okay, so concerning concerning Cetibio. Cetibio is a 10 years old company based in France, in the mountains, so not so close to the seas. Anyway, the core of the company is based on a high throughput screening platform that has been developed with more than 80 different microbial models. We started on a similar model than my friends, working on antibacterials and antifungals, antiparasitic compounds. And we completed this with an original tool which is dedicated to the identification of the side effects of those compounds, which is something very important. And then we extended this to the study and the research for new prebiotics. Recently, we refocused our work on mixing all of those tools to restore the different equilibriums in microbiotes, which is something very important, since lots of pathologies are now known to be concerned by disequilibria of those microbiotes. So we work on resources from the biodiversity, algae, microalgae, fungi, plants, and also byproducts. We got some programs with byproducts. And the applications are now dedicated mostly to cosmetics and nutraceutics and more on animal and human health. and especially in aquaculture. So maybe we will discuss a little bit later about this.
Okay, thank you, Jean-Christophe. So right now you saw different application and different possibility of development with microorganisms. The challenge is to put that on the market, to have success, or to have access to the market. It takes intellectual property protection and something like that. So my second question, common to all the panelists, will be the following. Can you give us a leading project or a success approach using a marine bacteria or other type of microorganisms in your business? What was the origin, the scale of development in terms of money investment, usage, the market, or some challenge, difficulties that you had on that, problematic, and something like that? I will begin with the Innov. Emmanuel, you mentioned that you cover a lot of microorganisms, a lot of application. What is exactly right now for you? Probably one success or one product that is on the market for you.
So I guess I will start by saying that our success is to have been able to build a platform which is totally integrated today. It's robotized, so we have again the ability to come up with various optimized bacteria that produce the compounds of interest for our customers. It took us quite a while. Actually, it took us a lot less time and money than what the Americans can do usually, because we fight and we compete against American companies who benefit from 150 million, Amiris 1 billion. We have only raised 35 million, which is not bad, but compared to our American friends, it's a lot less. So we need to be smarter. That's my first point. But we have this platform. It's in place. And I think our first success is to be able to produce carotenoids at a commercial level. We have always been able to produce many carotenoids, which are, again, an antioxidant, a pigment that can be used to color salmons or the egg yolk, or be used in cosmetics, or even be used as an antioxidant in a nutraceutical. And the challenge for us is to be able to produce these carotenoids at a commercial level. So let's say several % of carotenoid. And this takes time. And we have recently confirmed that we were able to produce 3 carotenoids at a commercial level. And I think this is basically the outcome of several years of work, and we are benefiting from that right now. The second one, which is also coming out of the platform, using all of our tools, from extraction to analytical, to genetic and metabolic engineering, and fermentation engineering as well, is to be able to demonstrate that we have right now an antibiotic coming out of a bacteria, which is a new antibiotics, a new chemical structure. So we have identified this one, and we are hopeful that we can enter a preclinical phase next year. But finding this new chemical structure is pretty unique today, and there's only a very few number of biotech companies focusing on that.
Okay. For example, for carotenoid production, did you integrate that production in your business or with partnership? How do you proceed to do that?
So it's a two-pronged strategy. The first prong is to partner with customers because they lead us to the solution. So we rely on them to help us with the market introduction, also with the qualification and their own screening processes. But of course, you generate less value because you kind of give away value to customers. The second prong of our strategy is to go ahead on our own and to produce our first batches of carotenoid, which will be the case next year. Which we hope to be able to commercialize. So we will not produce because we can't build an actual facility, but we will out-license that product in the form of actually a tolling production. So we'll toll manufacture the product and then we will sell it to some of our customers. So it's a mix of the two strategies.
Okay. Jean-Christophe, the same question about your organization and some success of products available on the market, or it could be services also or something?
Yeah. So, a difference between us and maybe Emmanuel in terms of company is that we didn't raise a lot of money, but even though we already had some successes, especially one based on cyanobacteria. It is not a microalgae stricto sensu, but this is a very, very old bacteria, and this strain, the properties of this strain has been patented in 2011 for its anti-acne activities. And we are now working on some other very interesting properties, especially in aquaculture to fight against the gram-positive bacteria, which are quite of interest in aquaculture. We also have 6 or 7 other strains we are working on, synthesizing very interesting antibacterial compounds with different spectra. Okay. So those are. I'm very proud of this work that has been performed in our lab, really internally with our own money.
Okay. And for anti-acne activities with the use compounds coming or from cyanobacteria, it's under production right now. It's on the market, or
yeah, we are
currently.
We are currently optimizing the synthesis of the molecule of interest. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's already available for small batches to produce some cosmetic products, for example.
Okay, thank you. Patrick, you are at the startup level.
Yes.
Yes. What is your current small success, perhaps, or something happens right now in your company about
so we are
the specific product?
Yeah, we are still a young company, so we are now working on our first product. This is, as I said, an anti-fouling solution, but we followed a different strategy from my colleagues here. Basically, we focused on bacteria that naturally already secreted and produced compounds in large amounts, and those compounds with interesting activities. So we focused our initial screenings and isolations on interfaces, basically if it's salt water, fresh water, the sea versus the shore, locations where there are very fast changes and very highly competitive surroundings. So where we would potentially find bacteria with better mechanisms, better molecules, and more performant. So we were lucky, of course. In the screenings we did, we found this bacteria that produced this mix of biocide products we are using now for this anti-fouling solution. So basically, and referring a bit to your metaphor of the dark and the bright side, we are working on both sides. Because we are using a bacteria to produce the active compounds, but we are also controlling the growth of the bad bacteria on the other side. This solution is being developed. We expect to have it on the market in around 2 years. And this is the perfect combination, the perfect green and efficient combination to replace copper and pesticides that are currently used in marine paints. So it is a huge market. It is a market in the world around 2.5 billion euros per year. And we are proposing a solution that finally will solve the technological gap of that sector. So we have basically in the development of the product, we have optimized all the scale-up in bioreactors. This is done. We have proven the efficacy of the integration in the paints. And we have also demonstrated very, very important non-toxicity for mammals.
Okay. Good.
So basically, we are there at this stage.
And what markets you are looking? Is it European, North American? Are you looking for different registration on that product?
Yeah, registration is of course the key issue there. So we are focused first on the US market. Okay. It is also a complex registration process, but compared to European processes, a lot more simple and faster.
Okay, thank you. The last question for each of you. Based on history, what you have right now, what will be the challenge for the next year? Okay, you have to do money, you have to obtain money to develop, to start up, and you have to do money, you have to put that on the market. Well, will be the challenge for the next year that you could speak at the next BioMarine 2017? Patrick.
Okay, well, as I was saying, our biggest challenge will be, well, for startups, I should say investment, but actually it is not, because we just closed a round of investment. So it's kind of weird, but it's not our major problem now. So our biggest struggle will be, of course, registration process. in the US and preparation of the registration process in Europe. Another aspect is that we have gathered the network, the partners, and basically all the network we need to develop the first product. But now we are starting to develop other products of the pipeline. So we need partnerships.
Okay.
We need partnerships to work on other areas to develop those new products of the pipeline. And of course, that's why we are here, and that's the best forum to do that.
Okay, thank you. Jean-Christophe, your challenger.
I think we all will say the same thing. Of course, we all need money to make money. This is something very basic. But the most important problem we all face is probably the registration, for sure. And it's really, as you said, for example, in Europe, it's very, very difficult to register for new compounds now. It's much more easy in North America, in Asia, but so definitely we have to work on the internalization of our products.
What type of investment that needs to do registration or to do tests for innocuity or toxicity evaluation? Are you there right now, or?
Well, this is the reason why we are looking for money. This is to register some of our products for sure.
Okay.
It costs a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
It costs too much.
Okay. Emmanuel?
Yeah, I think I can only repeat that regulatory issues are key for us, small companies, because it's handled very nicely by major groups, but for us it's a huge effort that we need to undertake, and it's a huge cost. So that's definitely a big issue. And usually Europe is more complex than the US, so we go to the US first, and then probably Latin America, some Asian countries, and then Europe, which is a little bit strange because we're all operating in Europe. So that's the first thing. The second challenge is scale up for us. We're still a small company, even though we have raised some money. We have only 20-liter reactors, so we need partners to scale up our technology. So bigger reactors, and also understand the processes side of things. And the last thing is that we as a company need to increase our biodiversity. Even though we have 6,000 bacterial candidates right now, we actually need more, not only for our cosmetics, food and feed effort, but certainly for our antibiotic development. So I've been talking to some of you so that I can increase my biodiversity. It's actually a good deal because I'm paying this time, so I'm the customer. So, if you have any ideas around biodiversity, we have ideas, but we need more crazy bacteria, extremophile, well described by Patrick. The best bacteria are those that are found in hostile environments where they've been struggling and fighting for actually billions of years. And that's where you find those that produce the most interesting compounds for, I would say, what we call sustainability, but it's really what we do, because we use nature to produce natural compounds that will improve the health of the planet.
So Emmanuel, you are at the beginning of the process. You are a young company, and you need a partnership to increase production. Do you see right now a growing interest on your type of product for the future development on this type of products?
Yeah, there's always a lot of interest in everything we do, of course, because again, we're natural, it's sustainable, it makes sense, but it's always a fight to get funding, fight to partner. I mean, we've been pretty successful at partnering with major groups in cosmetics, food, feed, and hopefully within antibiotics. I think scale up, getting the right scale up partners is actually going to be the key for us going forward.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much to all. I think that you are in a field that will be a big future development. I invite you to speak with each of the panelists this morning. To end the panel this morning, I think that we could have more time to discuss about challenge, definition, technology development, genetic engineering, regulation requirements, money, and so on. I think that for the next BioMarine 2017 in Rimouski, that will be useful to have a specific workshop on that, to have a big discussion on this subject. Thank you very much.
Thank you.